Welcome to the February 8th, 2022 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Dracologist, apologies.
And Line?
Oopsie. I was checking something, it's technical at the moment. I'm completely apologizing for that.
That was the fifth take, and the best.
Take, you're so full of shit.
I wish it would be a fifth take, it was much more. Apologies, it's 4 a.m. here. I might
are
be
not
a little
going
bit
back.
tired.
Yeah, I do keep forgetting that. Like, we record late, and it's like, oh man, it's so late. But then, like, you sign on, and we're like, oh, no, never mind.
No worries, I'm an
no
old.
business.
I'm completely okay with this.
Yeah, it's 10 p.m. on a Saturday here, Eastern Standard Time. How much?
Sunday.
That is my
Sunday.
prime active visit time, usually.
No, I mean, that's fair enough. I always just feel bad, though, when it's like, can we please get going? It's like, it's nearly 12 midnight, and you're like, okay.
What's funny is, if you know Lotus, he's also, like, a very, like, late person.
Well, I do like staying up, but the semester's begun, so I have to get up early some days.
And by early, he means, like, 11 o'clock.
No, I wish.
I used
wish.
to record podcast with you lads while I was working.
You
Wow.
absolutely, you called us lads. You're a mad lad, dude. That's badass. I want to see your boss show up. Like, could you shut up? I'm doing a podcast.
Quiet on the set!
Yeah.
What boss? Like,
Fair enough.
I mean just like I'm not recording at my working space. I usually record at home.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, we do have some interesting updates on NFTs and the attitudes thereof and such. But
You can hear the soul flying out of my body, I think.
We've seen it all over the internet.
NFT, nice fucking tits.
No, my favorite one was no fucking thanks.
I like to funge my tokens. Sorry, but I mean,
honestly, if you allow me, but honestly, I never imagined that fungible is an actual word, but it apparently means replaceable, like spare parts or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, which is true. Like, there's a limited amount of crypto you can mine, but like, yeah, no one's ever heard that word until like just now.
Yeah, it's very like very technical term, but I guess my like I've been saying all along, my big problem with these things is that they're not regulated and so many people are getting taken advantage of. I'm aware that there are advantages to NFTs. I just don't think that I think hucksters are selling them, which is no good.
Well, I just want to own a code that represents an ape.
Yeah, and
like,
the way they're being used is stupid.
I want to print out my unique URLs and frame them on my wall.
Honestly,
Yeah,
wasn't the NFT guy said that the whole thing can be considered a scam because the code cannot contain the information people expect it to contain? And
Well, yeah, you're not a programmer, you don't know. Like, and if you are a programmer, like, you'll have to go find out if. Well, I saw it compared to back when we were kids, like where you could go to some organization and they can name an unnamed star after you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cool thing to do because scientists aren't naming the bajillion stars. Like, so you know what? We'll name one after you. But those people aren't connected to like the scientists. Like, they could sell everybody the same star and nobody's talking about it. You're just getting fucked out of like $100. I don't know how much it costs.
Like one other thing that kind of reminds me is the buying an area on the moon was also a similar thing.
I don't even remember that. Damn.
The problem I think with this that one of the problems some people said that the art is just ugly. It is basically a
that's
that's the weird thing to me is that like if they had really kick-ass art, and it's like, oh, I would like to own the core of that art. Like, I still disagree with that, but like, yeah, they're exclusively awful.
There is like a few like actual NFTs that are like handcrafted and beautiful, like a loop of an beautiful animation with even music if necessary.
Yeah, but the only
And-
stuff people share is like the same fucking ape.
because it's you know the term paper doll.
Probably I've
You know
heard
when
it, but I forgot what it meant.
When you have a
It's basically you could dress up that ape anyway.
Oh yeah, it's like
Yeah,
those
because it
Flash
has-
games where you like dress up a character.
Yes. That's a
like
paper
Wally
doll.
Wooly. Remember Wally Wooly?
And
I
because
always knew him as Dapper Dan, but yes.
and the point is
Yeah.
that this way they can make a lot of basically a lot of iteration of the pictures with
Just by randomizing a few.
yes. And
No, I mean
people-
they
characteristics.
can, but it just looks lazy. It's like I have a different color version of the
Yes.
same shit you have. Like,
It's a
Incidentally-
palette swap ninja.
Incidentally, someone said that the artist who does this actually have proper talent. He's just probably was bought up.
well, no, like you could see there's effort put into a drawing. I just don't like the look, but like they're all the fucking same.
And I'm not going to talk about like what people turned NFTs into.
Yeah, well,
Like there was not one or two outrages about like basically using dead people as your little internet money jetons.
although I will tell you what I have seen a lot of people use to turn NFTs into, which is awkward apologies like a week later.
Yeah.
Which is always funny to see. Oh, I will. Well, after consulting with people, even though every fucking other company that's done this like a month ago has already gotten the same results.
Yeah, if you're
now that
getting
I've
into
talked to
this
my
and-
fans, I realize this was dumb as shit.
Yeah, but
Yeah, if you get into this at this point, you haven't been paying attention.
Which is hard to do because it's like it's not like it's like it's really big in these niche
No,
groups,
you're
but I
gonna
haven't
come
heard
across
about it.
people
Like they're in
complaining about
headlines.
it all over
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A bunch of unfortunate celebrities that are well loved are starting to get into it because I have a feeling they're just out of touch and don't understand why.
Yeah, they're being paid to
it's
say
bad.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tony Hawk recently, that was depressing.
Yeah, and Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, who is an activist. So like,
Yeah, I was gonna
people are
say,
what the
like,
fuck?
Yeah, that's the machine. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, what are you doing? So I just think
Not
these
fucking
people
Tom.
are fucking out of touch. Like that's really it. It's like they're older guys that want to kind of be in the hip space, but like just aren't on social media, so they don't know.
Yeah,
that
I was
this
gonna
is
say
bad.
they missed the fact that the space is like exclusively occupied by douchebags.
Yeah, I don't know. They also are probably looking for investment opportunities, so they just like and they probably don't know how it works.
Although I will say though, just despite this lengthy intro, we are ironically getting into a good headline.
Yeah, we're-
not necessarily like it's incidentally related to NFTs, but itch.io was just very explicit about like they're bad, we don't support them, we won't support them. Like they were very like,
And they were like, it's fucking lame, man. Like, stop.
yeah,
it.
like usually when you see like you'll see an individual person say like, nope, I'm not touching this. But usually companies are like, I'd rather not talk about it, or like maybe we'll be brave about it. We will not participate. But itch.io was like, they suck. Like it's rare that you see like an entity like refer to something in that way. Like no, they're
probably
they're fucking
itch.io
bad.
is a very small company. I mean, like, let's face it. I mean, itch.io hosts a lot of content, but it's mainly fan made.
Yeah, it's
free
like
stuff,
it's like
right?
a conglomerate of indie devs.
It's mainly fan made free stuff or stuff that sells for a donation or
Yeah, I was just gonna say it sells for name your price or like minimum $3, maximum whatever you think. Or that
yeah,
kind of thing.
and probably their best selling stuff is like $1 or $2.
Yeah, it's
like a
usually
piece.
pretty cheap. Yeah.
I don't know. I got like anger food from itch.io, which was fun.
Oh sure, there's a lot of stuff that's fun. I mean, one of the things we're gonna talk about later, Bloodborne PSX. That's like I
Yeah.
can't believe. I mean, it has to be free because it's like it's basically a remake of a FromSoft thing. But like at the same time, I can't believe it's free.
Not only that, but
Sony would descend onto you like a vulture onto a corpse.
I can't believe they named it what they named it, because like they easily could just name it something else.
Yeah, but, yeah, like blood brawn or like rearrange the letters.
Anything to not attract attention, but we'll get to that. I want to give it its due, but I just wanted to say that itch.io is doing the right thing. Seems like they've always done the right thing, and are in the spirit of helping the little guy, which is kind of always been their message. With the various charity things that they've run and different causes that they've backed. I like them a lot, and I also like that it gives a nice place for people to put out these like pretty cool things, and sometimes they even just put out tools. Like one of the things that I really like that I got off of itch.io is Doom Smoosh. Have you ever heard of Doom Smoosh?
No.
Either of you?
Is it just like
Doom
like
Smoosh.
super compressed, squished screen, like Vertical Doom or something?
No, what it does is it might be called Wad Smoosh, but whatever. What it does is it combines all of the official WADs and then also adds a menu to it all, so that you can play Doom very easily by switch to whatever like official WAD that you want to go to.
You know what's funny is I had something like that in the 90s. It was called Demon Gate on a CD. It looked like a bunch of just weird shit that people put together, but it was like 666 levels of Doom, and you just type in like
Whatever
some serial code or number, and it's like that's the one you're loading, and you don't know what you're gonna get.
Well, this one's cool because it doesn't really have any fat. It's just all the official
better.
ones.
Yeah,
like and what you do is you dump all of the official WADs into a single folder, and it combines them all and gives it a GUI and all that stuff. So
what were you saying, Dracologist?
Yeah, this is like combining all the levels. Just reminded me that there was a project to make all of the episodes of Doom into a single map.
Yeah, like it's shocking
like
that
Metroid.
Not Metroid, but like when the exit of the level is basically the beginning of is just a door.
That's pretty cool.
Well, that does make sense because the beginnings, like especially in Doom 1, the entrance of the level is a door. Like, why not just connect to the previous level?
Or a switch or a teleporter.
That's true. But yeah, it's typically it's not like you're just in the middle of the desert. Like usually, you clearly see where you came from.
Generally, that gold-plated door, and possibly when you open it, you can open it once. It closes behind you instantly, and I guess it instantly puts you into the next.
That's a brilliant idea. Like I can't believe I never thought of that.
There are a lot of refurbished or remade levels for Doom that makes those clunky little levels into something that are more like an actual what it meant to be.
Like I'm just kind of imagining like if you don't know how to put the backgrounds together because it's not just one hallway. I'm just imagining like those older PS1 games where you just run through a long corridor for a little while until the next area like loads in. Like those are like disguised loading screens that include gameplay, and then whoops, I'm in the next area.
I think they just rotate the map a little bit just to fit it.
Okay.
Not to mention that there are teleporters that can basically put you into a new area that fits more better.
Yeah, teleporters would make it easier. I'm just imagining the doors.
Yeah. So moving on from that, I did want to just like say a positive thing there about itch.io and their spirit of things, and I there's some really good stuff. We've also talked about like the Advent calendar, the PlayStation Advent calendar, and what was it, Halloween demo thing that's on there as well. There's a lot of cool stuff on itch.io, so like definitely get into the scene there. It feels very like old internet-y, like almost like Newgrounds almost in some ways, but like it's cool and scrappy, and it looks like people get support there, so I like it. So moving on from that, so the latest acquisition, I was about to say Inquisition, nobody expects that, but
we could use some Inquisition, but we already have some, so...
But Yeah, the newest big acquisition is New York Times buys Wordle. So I guess they need something to complement their famous crossword puzzle. But
Sure.
yeah, apparently they bought Wordle for apparently low seven figures from just like a guy in Brooklyn.
Uh, not not familiar with thing. What is Wordle? Is it some sort of generated word puzzle game?
Wordle is. Do you know the game Mastermind, like the board game?
Yes, I'm fully aware of it.
Wordle is that, except, okay, you have a 5-letter word, you have no idea what it is. You have 6 guesses. If a letter comes up gray, it's wrong. If it comes up yellow, then you have the right letter, but it's in the wrong place. And if you get green, then you have the right letter in the right place. You have 6 letters to guess a 5-letter word. It's surprisingly addictive, and you can only do it once per day, so you don't hack away on it all day. There's like a word of the day. So it's like enough to have you having fun and come back for more later instead of burn yourself out over the course of like an hour or something.
So it really does make sense for something like that to be an attraction for the New York Times, because like people, it's kind of like the comics, right? You look
at it for you look at it for a couple of minutes and you're like, that was fun, and then you come back tomorrow.
Yeah, but it also attracts you to the news to the news that they're generating as well, right?
Yeah, the site that has it, yes.
So that's the point, all right? Just like any other attraction in a newspaper or a news website, comics and puzzles are something that people come to because it's part of their habit. A Sudoku kind of thing. Some people do that every day. It's part of their habit, so they do it on a daily basis. And while you're there, you might read some of the headlines.
Oh, and you know what's also clever about Wordle, by the way, is that you could share your results without spoiling the word. Like, it shows your guesses up until you either got it wrong or until you solved the clue, like with 5 green letters. So you can just share these boxes, and if people know what they mean, then they know what it means.
Cool.
Yeah, I got it in 3 tries, not 6. What's the word? Find out yourself. That kind of thing.
I have to say that unlike a lot of other cases where we've seen like a big company acquire a really big company acquire a big company, I am okay with this, and this is why.
It kind of fits. Speaking of which, can I interject just a little bit?
Sure.
We heard that Microsoft bought
Activision.
Microsoft was Blizzard Activision, and after that day Sony bought Bungie.
Yeah, Bungie.
And one of the little jokey things I saw that I'm like, well, in that case, Nintendo buys the Electronic Arts.
That would be really funny.
My favorite reaction was like just like a GIF or something, or a picture of just like an enraged person when it was like the person at Sony who thought that Bungie still owns Halo. Like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, we actually didn't even talk about the Bungie acquisition yet, so we do have to talk about it.
A lot of people were saying it was in response to Microsoft, but that's impossible. That's just incredible timing. They don't just snap their fingers and buy Bungie.
Yeah, that's true, and they have to talk to them about it.
Not to mention, I think a lot of people will on the Xbox who play Destiny has been just simply booted off, which is going to upset rustle a couple of jimmies, I feel.
I haven't heard that one in a while, Russell Jimmies.
It's a good word.
No need to get upset, or
Mr.
however that name goes.
Always like saying that one. But let me quick finish my thought about that before we move on to Bungie.
Okay.
So New York Times buying Wordle from one guy. I commend that one guy because he created something, made it lucrative, and,
it was like a little fun
made it popular
game for his family, and now he makes millions of dollars.
Exactly. I'm okay with that. And not only that, but it more than likely is going to be a fad. And he made his money, and New York Times can deal with trying to update it and keep it relevant.
Yeah, and not only that, But this was one guy. It's not
Yeah.
like, there's an acquisition. People are going to lose their jobs. Like, that's
Exactly.
just not going to happen.
He's going to lose his job and be fucking happy.
Yeah.
So he's made it in my mind. I'm okay with this. You know,
Well,
if I
New
was
York
him, I'd
Times
do the same thing.
If New York Times willing to pay, I'm not just going to forget about him. We don't need him anymore.
Well, I mean, they gave him a few $1 million, you know, and then
for a game that already exists, except with words.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to take all of his, you know, code and all that stuff, and you can have somebody easily run what he was doing because, you know, he was doing it in his spare time.
Come up with a 5-letter word.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, you know, it was a really hard word a week or two ago.
What was that?
Knoll, like the grassy knoll.
Oh wow,
that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough because number one, that's a very obscure word. A lot of people just had no idea. But number two, there's a little keyboard like image at the bottom of the screen. It's very convenient because it highlights the letters on the keyboard that you have guessed, like gray, yellow, or green. But it can't possibly take into account double letters. So and like the words rarely have double letters. So you're like,
yeah, because
I already have the L. It's got to be something else, and it's just
have two.
It's just another L. Yeah, like so those are like that was hard for two reasons.
Yeah,
grassy hyena person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The other note that took me a second.
But yeah, Sony buys Bungie in a surprise move after everything. We'll
get a
really
PC port of Marathon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So they have what, 2 FPS franchises that they own themselves, right? They have Destiny and they have Marathon. And
we could finally get Oni 2.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Oni 2. Yeah, like here's the thing: they don't own Halo and never. Like they did, but
Bungie lost Halo a while ago.
Yeah. Microsoft bought it.
No,
I mean, I say lost, but yeah.
They didn't lost it. They just drawn an idea. This is how far we're going to develop it.
So,
and then basically from 4 to 6, it's basically 343. What is it? Software development games.
343. Yeah. 343.
I forgot what the
which
word
is named
is
after one of the characters.
Yeah,
but,
because Bungie had an obsession with the number 7, and I think it's some sort of I think cubic or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't know what the number is, but that makes sense.
But yeah,
343 can be divided by 7, something like that.
Okay. But anyway, Sony buys Bungie. Bungie is a much smaller company than Activision Blizzard ever was. They basically have one game going at any given time. So it is not the same kind of thing. You might think it is because they bought one company bought Call of Duty and the other one bought Halo, but that's oversimplifying the situation. Activision is much more than just Call of Duty.
Also, I just want to throw in there, Dracologist is dead on. It's 7 cubed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But Bungie, like we've been saying, doesn't have a lot of IP. They have Marathon, which is a very old Apple Mac only Doom clone that actually was really ahead of its time.
It was, and there is a lot of parts of there that returns in Halo in it.
I was gonna mention, I heard that like one of the newer Halo games, possibly Infinite, was like I don't know if it was necessarily using ideas from Marathon, but apparently like Marathon is more relevant than people might think.
Marathon is still groundbreaking because it's not just a Doom clone. Like it appears like it is, but then the first game,
it has a bit of adventure elements to it.
I was just gonna say the first game, it has a lot of logs to read, and the narratives that go along with the game completely change like your relationship with the game, because it makes what you're doing a lot more complicated, and also has gray areas, and like you could be feeling bad about what you're doing. And this was back in the day. Like this
Yeah,
was like
I was
going
to say this is like pre-Halo. Like this is like the PS2 era. Like there were games with compelling narratives, but like FPSs didn't tend to go in those directions. Deus Ex was like 2000.
Yeah, this is way before any of that. This was 1994.
That's that's like System Shock 1 era. Like System Shock 2 was 99.
Actually,
Marathon's a completely 2D game. Just like Doom is.
2.5. You mean?
Well, you know what I mean. Doom is a completely 2D
it's pre-Quake. Yeah.
It's called 2.5. It's generally referred to that.
Yeah, it's like the illusion of 3D.
Yeah,
correct.
And I did wanted to say that, it's a little bit of System Shock and a little bit of Halo. It's like something between System Shock and Halo, if you can do that stretch.
Yeah, and there were 3 of those games, and the third game apparently is like a fucking masterpiece that nobody's played. Thankfully you can play it now. Like Bungie has released the games like with an emulator like that uses that allows you to play it on a Windows machine this day and age. So you can play it. I think it's still on their website. All 3 games, and they are really fantastic. The third game in particular is really complicated and has like all kinds of stuff that you can do in it that are really revolutionary for the first person genre, and like especially given how early they were.
Yeah, I was going to say as a reminder, Doom. But I was going to say Doom is like, what was Doom? 93.
93, yeah.
Yeah, so this is extremely early. This is like not even Strife was out. Like this is the era where you shoot things. Like you walk up to an enemy and you shoot things. So that's like insane for 1994.
Yeah, let me just double check when the first one was released, because the second one was 95, so I think I'm spot on.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the second one was 95, and let me see what the first one was.
Like the most complicated thing I've seen that even compares to this might have been like Terminator Future Shock. And I'm going to see what the release date of that was, but I bet you it was after 94.
Yeah, the first one was...
Yeah,
the first one was 94, just like I said. So, and it only ever really got... they re-released the second game on Xbox 360 just kind of as a nod to their older history. But there's some really complex story beats in there. Especially there are 2 AIs that are fighting each other, and you're kind of caught in the middle by the end of the series. And sound familiar? But it gets really, really interesting what you're doing in there, and you can even like change your appearance in the game to fool bad guys.
I remember seeing something like that in like maybe one of the Jedi Knight games, like toggle disguise so you don't get aggroed. But again, that's definitely after 94.
Yeah, like there's all kinds of different things you could do in this game, and they thought of that what you could do with a Doom-like game back then. So that's like really revolutionary. It's really unfortunate that it released on a platform that was not known for its video games. So only like the small tight-knit Mac community that played games was really talking about it. And it's kind of all they had, honestly. I can't think of too many more, Apple exclusive games that were nearly on that level. Now, they also made 2 other games called Myth and Myth 2. Those were and real-time strategy games. And those were pretty popular, too. So the original Halo was...
A myth is as good as a mile.
But Halo was supposed to be kind of a combination of the 2 concepts. Originally, it was going to be a real-time shooter or a real-time strategy game, and then they were fucking around with the Warthog and found out that was so much fun and ended up going back, and making it into a first-person shooter.
Didn't they eventually make an actual RTS? Was that what Halo Wars was?
Halo Wars is that, yes,
okay.
Correct.
So
they
misplaced
they
on
are
the consoles because
they've always been a pretty cool company. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just wanted to say that real-time strategy and console controls are not friends.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
but
StarCraft 64 is the most playable game ever made.
But yeah, no, they did not intend it to be a console game originally. It was going to be another Mac game. And then Microsoft saw it and were like, "No, you're turning this into the flagship of our new video game system that nobody knows about yet." Yeah, it's really interesting. Now they have Destiny, which has some really cool ideas. It's not like exactly where it should be, I think, but I think it's the only thing like it. So it kind of gets a pass. It's the only like first-person shootery thing that is like an online like MMO. But like also feels like a good FPS.
No, I don't want to be hurting toward the players of Destiny, but Destiny is just one of the another number shooters that I wish they didn't exist.
Well, I mean, I like Destiny in concept. I like the lore aspect of it, and I think that's pretty cool. But like the whole like thing that you have to do, like do your dailies and all that crap, the same thing that you do with mobile games, you're trying to collect different currencies and trying to level up different currencies. I just can't I can't get with that. I don't have enough time in my life for that.
I do not like that. It's one of those games like Warframe that works as a second job. You don't want that.
I don't want that. I can't do it.
I don't want that in my life. And I don't want a game that I perpetually have to keep playing. I want a game that ends. But that we're kind of old fogies like that. Like, there are plenty of other people that love, stuff that you just go into and you play, and then you keep doing it, and then it changes a little bit over time. Like Fortnite. Like, Fortnite is a insanely really popular game that we have nothing to do with. So, I mean, there is a place for that. It's just not with us. But yeah, I do like the concept of it. Now, I think people are up in arms about this. I mean, I think it's a smart move by Sony. I mean, I don't want to see them bought, but they are. But Sony, there's basically an arms race going on right now, and Microsoft is a bigger company than Sony. Let's just face it, they are.
I didn't know that Bungie published Abuse.
What is it?
Bungie published the video game Abuse, which was a DOS sort of platformer game. With a 360 aiming.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a whole lot else. I mean, just like Lotus said, kind of as a joke. There he mentioned Oni, which was a PlayStation 2 game.
Oni?
Yeah,
exactly. Oni was actually supposed to be a big deal. They were gonna have like extra material like supplements and stuff like that.
Back then, that was the big shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ganop. They made a game called Ganop.
They also made a game called Pathway into Darkness, which looks interesting. It looks like sort of this...
basically like Ultima Underworld.
Yeah, only with a soldier, contemporary military man.
Yeah, it also has like a first person view as well. So it's really interesting.
Prequel to
kind of like a Heart of Darkness mixed with Ultima.
Well, it basically looks like a prequel idea for Marathon.
Exactly. So kind of like Ultima Underworld with Wolfenstein or whatever. But yeah, I think they so far have said that everything is going to remain multi-platform, but we know from experience, first of all, why would these companies be buying these if they were not going to reap the benefits? So of course their contractual obligations will be upheld, but I have a hard time believing that they won't be doing something exclusive for mom and dad. That just doesn't make sense otherwise. So I don't know what to think other than Sony could probably use something like Destiny, like something where, Destiny always has done better on PlayStation. I mean, the first game was exclusive for PlayStation 4, right? So, maybe that's just what's going to end up happening. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than like I wish these companies would remain independent. Like Bungie was not a problem company. Activision Blizzard was a problem company. So like I'm kind of happy that their leadership is going to be changing because they're pieces of shit. But Bungie hasn't kind of is losing their autonomy. So I'm more upset about this.
Not that if their autonomy did any much. They like literally made Destiny and Destiny 2 in the last like 10 years. And they
but
really
they've been constantly making those games. They provide they're like games as a service. They're not like we just released that and we did nothing for 10 years. They've been building and building and building the same on top of the same concept. So I mean it's a little bit different than what you're saying.
I want to argue, but let's carry on.
Okay. Well, anyway, we have to move on here, but this is also big news. We've been talking about some big stuff. Rockstar confirms that they are in active development on the next Grand Theft Auto entry to the franchise. That's how they put it. So they did not admit to what it was going to be called, whether it was a sixth game or what it's going to be.
Red Dead Auto 9000.
Yeah, I all my bets are on that this is going to be an online exclusive game. And I'm probably not wrong. Because like they make so much money off of GTA Online, that I would find it very surprising if that's not what they're doubling down on, because they could make that a full-fledged, full-budget game. I mean, they've been adding to that as games as a service ever since 5 came out 10 years ago or whatever the hell.
It's been a while. It was a PS3 and 360 game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a 10-year-old game probably.
I'll be honest. The concept of a rival gang style multiplayer game, like sort of this semi-MMO game, in the style of a GTA game would be actually appealing, but I would much like to see it in the style of Saints Row. Sort of taking it less serious.
So I agree with you. I think this is also the natural progression of a game like this, because originally the most fun parts of Grand Theft Auto were the sandbox element, like just taking the car and just doing weird, stupid tricks, exploring the area and running people over and getting into mischief and like triggering the police and all that crap. And a lot of people just played the game for that. And would mostly ignore the missions, because the missions were largely annoying compared to like all the sandboxy stuff. Because like they're on foot like controls and like I don't know if anybody remembers this, but like playing GTA 3 and Vice City, like and like playing missions where you had to shoot people was fucking awful.
Well, not only
even
that,
back then.
Well, not only that, but even going back to things playing well, like all of a sudden you got to take the car from this location to that location. You can't bang it up too much, and you're like, oh god, I have to be like super careful and place riddled with traffic.
It always limited you in a game that never cared about limiting you before. Yeah. Go ahead.
This like you basically have to steal cars, and the problem is that as soon as you do it, the four-dimensional police from the quantum world starts following it from always the most unpleasant spots. And it's
whoops! You have 3 stars. Just hear the cops.
Especially in the situation when you have to carry a vehicle that is just not fast. Like, I want a trash truck for some reason. It just barely can outrun the police cruisers.
So they've been doing interesting things with GTA Online by, you know, having different seasons and stuff like that, just kind of like you know, Fortnite does. Like they add all kinds of new content like every so often. And it's usually going around like a theme. Like this one's Tron-like. Like this is, you know, this has alien stuff in it. You know, they do all kinds of stuff. So making it a purely online game makes sense to me. Just, you know, improve the graphics and the interface and, you know, the way that you connect with other people and what you do and the different types of missions. Really, they could have... they could do a lot of different things with a new GTA Online, but you know, they can even add horses because they have all that horse tech from Red Dead, right?
Yes,
Yeah, but you gotta add. Oh, you beat me to it. You beat me. I was just gonna ask: do the balls respond to temperature?
Yes.
That's the big question. Oh, you were too quick for me.
How fucking important is that?
Well, important enough to make stupid clickbait headlines for a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's true. It made it. But I guess my point is that I don't think that they are going to return to the narrative game that they are known for. And they are less and less paying attention to that anyway. Like the real fans of GTA, the real bread and butter has been GTA Online this whole time. That's why they haven't released a new game in 10 years. 9 years, I'm sorry.
You know what I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Grand Theft Auto Germany, and someone's going to steal the one Mercedes-Benz that exists, and then no one's going to stop them because there's no other cars. Ever. Anywhere. And then you run out of gas because there's gas stations don't exist, and you lose.
I don't know, like...
I don't know what you're referring to.
Like the first ever car, the Mercedes-Benz.
Oh.
Like there's just, that's it. That's the one car.
They
Grand Theft
all
Auto
put
Germany
from
in like
the
the late 1800s.
That's funny.
My mind immediately drifted to that old TV show from Germany called Cobra 11, which was a police show about a lot of car chases. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know the stereotype about German highways.
Oh, I know about the Autobahn, which has no speed limit.
Yes. Can you imagine a racing game where the police start cruising after you with this, like...
Yeah, it's like Redline. Both the driver and the cops just burn their nitro and go like 1,000 miles an hour.
Yep.
And every other driver's like, whoa.
Wow. So anyway, we'll see what that ends up being. I don't expect to get an official announcement from them. They said it's active development, so an official that must mean that it has hit a certain threshold that they are definitely sticking with whatever idea they have. I don't know though. They release a game when they're good and ready.
I was gonna say the opposite. Like I'm thinking Bethesda, where they just show a title card that says Grand Theft Auto 6, and then everyone claps, and then there's no news for years.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably hear about it in 2-3 years. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Yacht Club, the makers of Shovel Knight. Yeah, which is a great company. I love what they do.
They are very dedicated.
Yeah, they are made from former devs of Way Forward. But yeah, Yacht Club announced that they are putting out a new game called Mina the Hollower, which looks very Link to the Past-ish.
To be honest,
I'm happy about that.
Looks like a Zelda game that has the aesthetic and sort of framing and world of Castlevania.
Yeah, it looks great.
Sure.
I am really looking forward to it, and I will probably end up buying that game on day one. It just seems like something that's way up my alley, and I really love the games that they make. Indeed. So I'm gonna be all over it. I really loved Shovel Knight when it came out, so I can't wait for their next game, honestly. They released that ninja game, didn't they, recently?
Cyber Shadow, but I was informed that they did not make that in-house, like they published it.
Okay.
Was it Cyber Shadow, or was it the Messenger?
No, it was Cyber Shadow because the
He's right.
Messenger was made by the people who are doing Sea of Stars.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, yeah, Cyber Shadow. I mean, I guess they're both kind of Ninja Gaiden likes, but I believe it was Cyber Shadow.
So I
did
go
say
ahead.
Cyber Shadow. That game is like a high ceiling, high octane thing. Like that is a speedrunner dream type of game. So,
yeah.
Cyber Shadow, I was actually a little on the disappointed side with. I felt that it was so technical that it was annoying to play.
But by the way, I will point out, by the way, that the Messenger is also a brilliant speedrunner game. Like, once you get the grapple hook thing, you are just everywhere.
Yeah. But Cyber Shadow, I think, took too much inspiration from Ninja Gaiden in that they're always throwing, like, birds and shit at you and, like, getting in your way with everything that you do in that game, and it just made me very annoyed. Like, every time I jump, I have to worry about getting fucked. And it just wasn't smooth to me. You know, I guess if you get good, son, it'll be real smooth, but, like, it's just...
Yeah, it's like once you get good at Dark Souls, like, oh, well, I could just go through this area, but, like, how many times did you die first?
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of a frustrating experience. So I'm glad to hear that Yacht Club didn't actually make that game because that means that they don't have that as a blemish. But I mean, Cyber Shadow wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Just a little bit tough.
Yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting because like Shovel Knight is challenging, but it's not like it doesn't murder you either. It has forgiveness built into it, and it's a lot easier than any Mega Man game ever was on the NES. Let's just put it that way. And it had better game decisions or game design decisions in it, and I just absolutely loved that game. So I'm really looking forward to this new game. I can't wait for it to come out. Moving on from that, I just wanted to talk briefly about some newer games that have been out. Dying Light 2 came out this week after being in development for a very long time.
Oh boy, that game had a couple of... what do you call it? Weights around its neck?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It took a while to get out. And apparent... Oh, go ahead.
Like, just wanted to say, like, if someone blurted out that the game is like 500 hours long, I mean, dude, that is an entire month of continuous playing, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
It has a lot of content, but it's all very samey, I'm sure.
It's the usual, what I would call the Ubisoft open world.
That's literally what I was gonna mention. Like, if you wanna perfect the map, then it's like 100 hours, no doubt, but like a fraction of players are actually going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the company that originally made the original Dead Island, and then they went off to do their own thing with Dying Light, after like Deep Silver, I think, bought Dead Island and ruined it on their own. So this is like the Dying Light is the newer concept, and it's kind of like Borderlands but with zombies, right?
Borderlands was more about getting an infinite amount of infinite type of very 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 shitty guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Dead Island was more like if you would take a zombie apocalypse game and put in sort of RPG mechanics and the combat of Condemned.
Yeah, and there's also Dying Light also has some parkour elements to it.
They cut out a lot of fat from the RPG section and put in a lot of parkour, which is not a bad idea. I just really get bored by the bloody zombies.
Yeah. Now, this game is supposedly decent, not an amazing. I just wanted to quickly it kind of like the first one was. It's kind of like square in the like decent game range.
Look, drop kicking a zombie off a ledge of top of a building will never get old.
Yeah, so like I mean, if this is your jam, where you just want to go around shooting some zombies, I'm sure that you could do worse than this game. I mean, it has high production values. I can't think of another big name FPS zombie game that is on this level other than maybe the Call of Duty mode.
I wanted to say like probably that.
That's the only thing. Like everything else is just trash. So if this is what you're after,
wait. 7 Days to Die.
Okay, all right, but that's old at this point, isn't it?
It's got its updates. Like,
yeah. When did that come out? 7 Days to Die.
Ages ago, probably.
Yeah. So this came out in 2016. Okay. Well, there's a successor to what's that game that's like Left 4 Dead? What's the newer one?
No.
Oh, I know what you mean, but I forgot what it's called. Oh, Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood. Yeah, that game is supposedly a lot.
I think someone said it like this is what happens when you not Valve making the new Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, well, it's the same people that made Left 4 Dead made Back 4 Blood. So, yeah, it was kind of like they wanted to leave Valve and gain some autonomy, and they did it. So I'm happy for them that way. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about how it's supposedly an okay game. Moving on, this next one is yours.
Yeah, Vice, you're gonna like this in particular. King of Fighters has not just a character reveal, not just a team reveal, 2 team reveals. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Your man Rock is gonna be in the game. Not terribly surprising, but yeah, here he is. Gato is in there. Yeah. Janet or Janae, but she's the one with the blue.
Yeah.
Janae, she's the one with the blue dress with the skull on it.
Yeah.
And then we got
Team
awesome. Southtown with classic Geese, of course. Billy Kane, not terribly surprising, and my man, Ryuji Yamazaki, the guy who's just full on crazy and loves what he does.
So Gato is the guy with that drinks boiling water, right?
I don't remember. Gato? He's just the guy in the martial arts suit doing jump kicks.
Yeah, and he also does fireballs. He shoots out fireballs.
Okay.
So he drinks boiling water as kind of his I guess he focuses that's
nuts.
That heat through his exploding fists.
Okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't just throw fireballs. He kind of just he does kind of an exploding fist kind of thing. But yeah, that character's really cool. He's the only other character other than Rock that really shows up in other games from that particular game. Bijane is a very welcome addition because I don't think she's been in a game since Mark of Wolves. So
it's been a while.
Yeah, and she was one of the coolest characters in that game, and that was a game full of cool characters. So she just was a pirate queen, kind of character, which I always love. She had a kind of cool aesthetic to her. I really like the dress that she wears. She's just a really neat character.
She's got the One Piece style of pirate skull.
Yeah, exactly. She's the leader of the pirates, kind of thing. That's kind of a trope in anime, but I it's a trope I like. Moving on from that, Sifu is out on Tuesday. Do you guys know anything about Sifu?
Well, people have been looking forward to it. It's got clever dynamics regarding you're fighting in a sort of beat 'em up environment, but it looks more technical than a standard beat 'em up.
Correct. So this is made by the developers of Absolver, which was a martial arts action game that had more technical melee than most games. Just you actually had to perform actual melee techniques in order to win battles, rather than just pressing the button or doing a combo. You had to actually aim it correctly, that kind of thing. So this game is kind of in that same mold. It's a martial arts revenge story. and apparently like every encounter is like has a more realistic feel to it. Obviously, it's very easy to overpower a person with just 2 people. Even a good fighter can't fight like 2 normal people very easily. It's not a thing. It's hard enough to fight 1 person, even if
they know what they're doing.
Even if you know what you're doing. But 2 people like almost always are going to beat 1 person, unless they are like really good or really lucky. But 3 people's out of the question. Like they're going to overpower that guy, no problem. But obviously in this game, multiple people will attack you at once. But what's cool about it is like you have to do actual like counter moves that are harder to do than just a button press. It's a much more technical game. You have to watch how the bad guy, or the opponent, I should say, is attacking you,
high block,
and
low
how
block.
to deal with it. I'm sorry?
High block, low block.
Yeah, exactly. It's more complicated than just your normal average like dodge button, that kind of thing. So it looks like a lot of fun, and I really want to see how it turns out, because it looks like fun. Apparently the early access is a little bit of a mess at the moment on PC, but it looks like it's getting decent reviews. Apparently what's been happening is people have been getting frustrated with it because it's a hard game, because you can't just do like just the average kind of stuff in order to win, but apparently it's rewarding, so I'm looking forward to it. Next one is Olliolli World. I've talked about this a couple times, and this looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a big step up from Olliolli 2, because Olliolli 2 is kind of like more of the same of Olliolli 1. It's like, hey, kind of, we give you a bunch of like achievements to hit in each stage, and it's a skateboarding game, but it's more like a runner. Like where you do tricks on a skateboard and then you clear a level. Like you have to hit so many points before you hit the end of the level, that kind of thing. And it kind of had that like almost like mobile game kind of structure to it. Like Angry Birds or something. Like you have to do so many things in order to get the stars. You need to do it so quickly or so efficiently. Same kind of deal. This looks like a full-on other adventure mode, which looks like a lot of fun. They even changed up the art style, which, admittedly enough, the original games like had a really cool style. They were very appealing, but this is like really sketchy and comic booky, almost like Adventure Time. It looks like a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it. I think it'll be really good on the Switch, so it looks like fun. Also, favorite game, like with the gaming game favorite of the show, Windjammers finally gets its sequel after many delays.
Take a shot.
Yeah, there it is.
We have I have not had a chance to play it because I bought a physical from Limited Run, so I'm waiting for that to come out. But apparently, people are liking it. Fans of the series are saying that it's a lot of fun, and any complaints that I've read are mostly complaining about how the online works. Like, it needs to be more convenient, like lobbying and spectating. Which I think that kind of stuff will be added in time. You got to remember, this is also a small company making this game, so like their infrastructure isn't going to be as complex as Capcom's for Street Fighter 5. It's just not going to be. But
like, it has a very clean graphics, what I saw.
It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. People love the way it looks. They like the way it plays. Another complaint that I've heard is that the game is less pick up and play. So kind of the appeal of the original game was that it wasn't too far off from Pong. It was Pong, but with some more complex, a little bit more complexity to it, but not too much, right? So it was easy to play, and it was easy for a beginner to get into. A lot of people are saying that, like the way that you pull off the special moves and all that kind of stuff are more like a fighting game, a modern fighting game where you have to really know your character really well, and not only that, but you need to know your opponent really well too, and what their abilities are, and what they can do, and what it looks like when they're about to set up a move, like a specific move. It's just like a fighting game in that way, and I can see why that is the direction that they would take, because I mean, if it was more like the original game, then what's the point? It needs to be something different enough so you don't want to play the first game instead of it. So I mean, you can't just do, hey, it's Pong again. You need to do something different, and so adding mechanics is the way to go. But I don't know. It's also going to be like it potentially limiting, because you're going to lose some of that pick up and play kind of ease into it, but I need to judge that for myself, because I'm sure a billion 12-year-olds will kick my ass online, but I do want to see how it plays. So I'm looking forward to it, and I've always liked that style of game. I like the two Dojin games that were made as unofficial sequels, the Crazy Power Disc games. I love those. So
yes.
I can't wait to play this, because I mean, this looks like to be a true iteration, a true new game, new thoughts behind it. So I didn't want just the same old game. I wanted something a little bit more complex. So let's hope it's good. Also, limited run games kind of surprised everybody. With they are putting out a physical copy of Soul Cresta, which was originally an April Fool's joke by Platinum Games that turned into to be actually a real game that they are making, and it's kind of funny to see like Platinum Games put like their stock in this, because they usually like make big fighting character action games, right?
I prefer the term spectacle fighter.
Yeah. It starts with Bayonetta, and then it stems out from elsewhere.
Didn't they work on God Hand, for example?
Yeah, they were still called Sammy,
Sure.
but yes.
Yeah, they were Clover at the time.
Clover, yeah, and in fact, if you see like Anarchy Reigns, which came out after Bayonetta, definitely got hand nods in there.
Yeah, so like their character action titles are all kind of, they have Nier Automata. They have like all
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Yeah, like
and then you got a bunch of like licensed stuff. Like you got the Ninja Turtles thing. You got Transformers Devastation. There's an
Legend
Avatar
of Korra.
game.
Yeah.
But Transformers Devastation, but that game is a little bit too fast for my taste.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They also made like a couple quirky games as well, like Wonderful 101 and things like that.
Sure.
It's available on Steam apparently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been ported. It used to be a Wii U exclusive.
Yep. But yeah, they are making a sequel to a very old arcade game. Was it Terra Cresta? And then there were a couple sequels. I think Moon Cresta is one of them.
I saw those games. I deliberately looked them up, so we'll see what sort of games are there.
Yeah, so basically, it kind of those games work off of the concept of what happens in Galaga. So
Yes, we know that you pick up new pieces of your ship, and
exactly,
and you can just basically detach it from your ship and use them as to broaden your firing range.
So they are making a AAA 2D shmup. And it's a sequel to a very old franchise, which, and they're selling it at $50, which is probably a mistake. And I'm gonna say this, I am a gigantic shmup fan. Everybody knows that I love shmups.
Yeah, but shmups are like $30.
Even the best high budget shmups don't sell that well. So they sell to the captive audience, that really likes that kind of thing, and it has to be really good for them to like it. And they usually buy it for $40 and under, usually a lot under, like $20. You could buy Death Smiles 1 and 2 for $20, for instance. Shmup fans typically don't spend gigantic amounts of money on even new games. Some of them will. The really diehard people, like, I'll buy it. I'll buy this because I believe in it. But I do think it's a mistake, because the last game that came out like this was Darius. I think it was Darius, Chronicle Survivor, and that sold pretty decently. But there are many others that did not sell well at all, like Netsuki Chronicles. That sold. That was a Xbox One exclusive that sold at $50, and nobody bought it. And it wasn't until it went multi-platform and was sold for $30 that people bought it. Raiden 5 sold for around $40 or $50 and didn't sell well, and then they lowered the price with iterations after that, and it sold better because people are more accustomed to spending $30 for a shmup. Here, I know that somebody's going to make an argument with me that says, hey, they put in the work, it's a AAA kind of game, they use this AAA budget on it. It's about perception.
And a lot of those other games you mentioned are AAA.
Yeah, it's about perception. I know that these systems take a long time to get just right, and the feel of a shmup to get just right for it to be a good game, and for people to tweak the scoring system so that they are compelling, that you want to play them. Also, all the art that goes into it. I'm very well aware of all of that stuff, all the technical detail that has to go into running on a system properly so that there aren't any frame skips, there's no lag. I am aware of all of that. So don't throw that at me. All I'm saying is that when a rando looks at it, they don't know the difference. And you need randos to buy your game. It's just... you're going to be selling this to me and... maybe a few other people that are curious, and then, like, a few really dedicated shmup fans, and then everybody else is going to be like, what the fuck is this? That's really it. It's kind of getting a bump that it's made by Platinum, so there will be people out there that'll be like, oh, it's a Platinum game, I'll buy that, no matter what the hell it is.
That's why Nier Automata took off. It was a Platinum game.
Yeah, exactly. There are going to be people that will do this, but it might be a hard sell even for some of them. Honestly, because it's a $50 game, and I'm sure it has the content to back it up. I'm not saying it doesn't. But Jesus Christ, like I don't know where they're looking up like strategy on how to sell something like this, but yeah, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it, and the physical edition looks very nice. So if you have any interest in this kind of thing at all, I definitely recommend it. I think it's really cool that they're doing it. Moving on, I'll let you do this one, Lotus. I know it's not one that you brought up, but you have been playing it. So
yeah, I'm very passionate about it, and you mentioned earlier in the podcast we would get to this. But yeah, Bloodborne PSX for an itch.io title did gangbusters. It got like 100,000 downloads in a day, which for an itch.io product is ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous.
It's probably straining their servers, like, literally, even though it's a small file.
Yeah, like, the beauty of this game is that it was fastidiously recreated. Like, it's Bloodborne.
Is it the whole game or just a portion?
Oh, not even close. It's up to Gascoigne.
Okay.
Kind of. So I'll get to that.
So it's basically like a demo, almost. Yeah.
Kind of. I'll get to that without spoilers. But basically, it's you leave Yosefka's clinic, you play Central Yarnum. There are some differences. Like, I think do you remember that one guy who's in the house that you could talk to? And
sure.
It's like, oh, hello, this place is fucked up. Welcome to Yarnum.
Yep.
You absolutely must talk to him in this version of the game to unlock a gate that's right next to him, which is not exactly hard to figure out, but, like, you've never had to talk to an NPC before.
Sure.
That's a little bit different. But you navigate Central Yarnum. That they tweaked a little bit of extra stuff to change things up, like to get through the sewers where the pig is and get past it to Gascoigne. There's like a new area of the sewers that was programmed in, which has purple water, which poisons, like as a joke, because like it's not a FromSoft game if you don't have a poison swamp somewhere. So you have that. You got to deal with a little bit of that. You have to find a sewer key to open this door to get there. I don't remember a sewer key even existing. Even in Yosefka's clinic, like you approach the werewolf thing, it kills you. Maybe not necessarily, but probably. And then you wake up and come back with a weapon, you kill him, and you leave. But you can't leave. You have to climb a ladder to pick up a key to leave. It's like, oh, that's a little different. You know, it's stuff like that. The game was made to be like a PS1 game, like inaccurate to Bloodborne controls on purpose. Like the button you press to open a door or...
So does it play like it has analog controls like a later PS1 game, or does it not?
No, D-pad only.
Okay.
And speaking of which, you move the camera horizontally with L2 and R2. So we're going like that. L1 is your gun, R1 is your weapon, like usual. But that means that there's no light and heavy attack like R1, R2. But there is. You can hold down the attack button to do a heavy attack. So it's stuff like that. You have to unlock the ability to transform your weapon. And if you do, you transform it in the menu. You can't transform it on the fly. So it's like, do you want your saw cleaver to be short or long? Pick now. But there's extra stuff. There's like, there's a unique weapon that was not available in Bloodborne at all. Like the double-barreled shotgun. It's in like a kind of a hidden area, which was pretty cool. There are some weapons that are in Bloodborne, but you shouldn't be able to get in Central Yarnum, like the electric weapon, the Tonitrus, for example. Swamp zombies do not exist. They're replaced with werewolves. The regular hunter enemies, the more bestial versions, do not exist. They've been replaced with werewolves. But we got the cleric beast. We got Father Gascoigne. We have... Oh, by the way, the entire audio of the game is kind of compressed. Like, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. To get that 90s vibe, it's amazing. You could toggle CRT like effect on and off in the graphic settings.
Cool. Yeah.
There are cheat codes. There's just a cheat code in the menu. Like, do you know the password? Type it in for little effects, including big head mode, which is very funny.
Yeah, they just kind of came out with the cheats recently.
Oh yeah, it's very 90s. Like, this was a thing a 90s game would have. To target an enemy, there's no analog stick, so you press the pick up item or confirm button. You just press X, which was a little disorienting for me at first. And so you press like L or R to toggle if you have multiple enemies, which was kind of cute. You got Cleric Beast and Gascoigne. When you beat Gascoigne, like, you've made it to the end of the area. But when you try entering the area past him, that would lead into that, you know, the chapel area with the big hub? Mm-hmm. That doesn't exist. That wasn't programmed into the game. So if you try opening that, it'll say, oh, the door's locked. But then, like, you know how as you advance in Bloodborne, when you beat certain bosses, like, you get more into the middle of the night?
Sure.
Like, it gets darker, the moon gets red. So when you beat Gascoigne, instead of entering the hub, which you cannot do, like, it gets dark out. And you're like, oh, it's a little early in the game to affect the night. And then all of a sudden you realize that you can't teleport anymore, except to the Hunter's Dream. And if you try going to your earlier locations, the lanterns have been blocked off. So you have to work your way back to the beginning of the game. And things have changed in interesting ways that I will not describe. And when you get back toward the beginning of the game, there's a new area that did not exist in original Bloodborne, and a unique boss, which again I will not describe, but it's like fucking brilliant. And once you take care of that, then you activate the credits. And to trigger New Game Plus mode, I don't know if the game actually gets harder, but what makes it plus is that you may choose one weapon, so one gun or one melee weapon. So maybe you want to choose your upgraded one, that kind of thing. And you may choose one item. Does that mean your blood vials, as mundane as they are? Does that mean one of the keys that you need to advance the game so you could skip this little journey? That's your call. But like you don't do a full transfer because they want to keep things interesting for you to change it up. But it's very clever. There are also areas in the Hunter's Dreams workshop that are locked by insight doors, which did not even exist in OG Bloodborne. You'll see like the insight symbol with like a number. Like, you need this much insight to enter, and you get insight from finding a couple of them lying around in the map, or by encountering and defeating bosses. So just play through the game and you'll be able to open that stuff, but it's like, ooh, what could this be? Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention is there's a lot of, like, loading screens. It's not like PS4 Bloodborne where it takes, like, 25 seconds to load an area, but like just running around Central Yarnum, like it's divided into sections. So you'll cross, like you'll go up or down a stairway, and it'll fade to black, and it'll say now loading, like it's Armored Core. And what's also cute, by the way, is if you go to your menu and you want to unequip a weapon, if you want to have just nothing, it'll say like not equipped, like Armored Core. It's amazing. There is clearly a lot of love put into this game. And regarding what you said about HIO having tools. It hasn't been released yet, but the dev is going to release the source code for the game if any other people want to modify it or add to it or whatever. But the game's currently on version 1.04, and it's fucking great.
I'm just surprised with how brazen they are with it, considering the amount of attention it's getting.
It's just called Bloodborne. It is a fan project. It's not making money.
I realize that, but they also do stuff like the PlayStation logo at the beginning.
That was shocking, because it doesn't say From Software, it says Fan Software, but it does just outright say like Sony with the logo. Yeah, there's a message afterward that says this has nothing to do with Sony or From Soft, but I was surprised by that first logo.
But those first logos are probably going to be like the major thing that like Sony is going to have a problem with, because
it's easily changed, but yes.
Yeah, but I understand why they did it, because they were being cute. But at the same time, I think it's a bad idea, like a really bad idea.
Yeah, because the Sony thing's a little gutsy. Although I will say the dev has been putting up like almost daily videos, maybe except for Sundays or something, of like, here's a little thing I've been working on. So like, if anybody was even half paying attention, like this has been going on for like 13 months.
They know about it.
Yeah, they should know about it.
They know about it, but I'm still saying if they have any problem with it, it's in being associated with it. They're probably okay with you making such a thing. They just don't want somebody being confused by it and thinking that they made it.
It clearly says who made it in the credits and everything, and you could tell it's like not the FromSoft logo. Although one thing that was kind of amusing to me was after the credits, which consists of like 5 people, it says like this was greatly inspired by actual Bloodborne, which was made by these people, and they go through the entire Bloodborne credits, which is like 12 minutes long.
That's good.
Yeah, it was kind of cute, but it's just like, whoa, there we go. I should also mention they have, you've heard some of this, but they have MIDI sounding versions of a few themes in the game. The Hunter's Dream, Cleric Beast fight theme, Gascoigne fight theme, and a couple of other things. One of them's unique, actually. I'm not going to spoil that. And one of them is a version of the Cleric Beast theme. We mentioned this, the only reason I'm mentioning this now is because we mentioned it months ago when it was released for the April Fool's thing, which turned out to be real. But there's some kind of Bloodborne kart racing mode, which I haven't figured out how to access. But it's a major key version of Cleric Beast theme, which is pretty amusing. Like, da-na-na-na-na. Like, it's great.
That's really fun. Well, anything else for the good of the order? Because we have hit our time here.
Yeah, really quickly, I haven't seen it, but Shenmue the Anime, I believe, came out today, Sunday.
Oh boy, is it as janky as the game?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, on Twitter, Mars Girl had a video of, like, it was like 30 or 45 seconds or something of, like, if Shenmue the Anime were like the game, and, like, it was overdubbed with the game's voice acting, like, I'm looking for the man who killed my father, like, with the slick-looking animation, and there's one guy who's like, what you say, punk? And he starts to punch, and it makes that, like, bring, and, like, that quick time event sound, and then Ryo reacts and counterpunches. It's very funny.
I'm saying this as a pretty big I'm a gigantic Sega fan. Like, I'm saying this, and from that era, mind you. I was in prime, fan lust in middle school when Shenmue came out. 1999, right? Or 2000. I was a freshman maybe into high school, but just getting into that kind of time. To have the perfect amount of nostalgia for all this crap. I don't know who this anime is for.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Shenmue 3 was for the people who remembered Shenmue 1 and 2, and they're like, okay.
We probably
so
said that we didn't want it
probably for them
anymore.
again, but
Yeah.
Here's the difference. The anime might finish.
If enough people watch it, I can't imagine they're even caught up to the third game in the anime.
Unlikely. The trailer I saw was Shenmue 1. The latest thing that I saw was like the punks at the dock, like toward endgame, with one of my favorite voice actors in the game. Looks like it's my lucky day. Like it's so awkward.
I just want them to finish their fucking story and
I want to hear
never return
Goro.
to it.
I want to hear Goro is what I want to hear. What's grooving, bro? Like that's just his voice.
I'm just saying, like, you've had too many opportunities to not end it. Like it's like X-Files. Like X-Files keeps getting like one more shot and then pulling back every time. Like, no, end it. You've gotten lucky enough for this thing to have any sort of resurgence. Like, finish it if you're given that. Like, just like it's like some of the old comic book series that I read like back in the day, like Scud Disposable Assassin. The creator just promptly dropped the comic after something like 24 issues or something like that, and said, nope, like, I'm not doing this anymore. I just don't want to do it anymore, because he kind of like he got tired of it, and also like it was kind of affecting his personal life, because it was like kind of a way of him dealing with a really bad breakup at the time, and he wanted to move on from it, so he never finished it, right? He, like, 20 years later, or 15 years later or whatever, said, okay, I want to finally finish it. So he said to everybody, I'm going to come out with 4 more issues to wrap up everything. And then he did it. He was lucky enough for a publisher to pick it up, and so he could get a resurgence in like eyes on the project, but he finished it. There have been some really cool projects like that have eventually just gotten finished. I don't know why in the world Yu Suzuki is like, no, I'm gonna keep like plodding along on this shit.
Yeah, 15 years later, I'm gonna get crowdfunding to have a chance to make my game, and he did, and it just spins its wheels.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
You gave me a filler chapter when you could have just had an area where you can meet up with the bad guy at the end of the game, had an info dump. It wouldn't have been as good as 12 other games, but who gives a shit? And just have him fight Landy or whatever the fuck.
Well, you actually do have him fight Landy, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have him fight Landy and you get closure. Like, that's how you do that.
I know nothing about this game.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Ryo says, wow, Landy, your tattoo looks way better on current gen. And they both look at the camera and wink, and then it cuts the credits.
Or maybe officially tied into, like, Yakuza or,
Oh, that'd be so
Virtual
funny
Fighter.
having like English dub Kiryu talking to English dub Ryo, where they're both kind of awkward.
I would love it, but alas, no.
Do you know the four Voodoo? Like, no, but we do have a Chinatown area in Kamurocho, I guess.
Yeah, we got what we wanted from Yakuza. Let's just say that. All right. That is the show for this week. We want to thank our fans who... that is the wrong script. Oh, God.
Oh, my... redo the entire thing. Dracologist, you got another hour and 20?
You have another 5 chances. That is the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. We're going to continue our exploration of video game adaptations in movie form and TV form. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything. Just give me a heads up and let me know who you are.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon accounts, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me on Steam, Discord, and occasionally on Skype under the name Dracologist.
All right. Wonderful. So we will catch everybody else on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Goodbye.